ready? You really are?
A roasted peanuts
I got
guy.
a roasted peanuts.
The defense could use a little bit of improvement, too.
See this afro? We brought this afro out for a reason. Is it the planners?
Oh, Lord help him.
I'll tell you something about public school.
Now, tomorrow we'll be talking about the Detroit Lions.
There were penises in my math book.
What's up, everybody? It's me, Qwan Young, and welcome to the Qwan Show.
What's up, everybody? It's me. It's DDY. You are on another live episode of the Qwan Show. I'm here live in the Best TV studio, and they gave me more time to talk. Absolutely, the last thing I need is more time to talk, but I'm glad that you tuned in. I have a little bit for you today. I just want to let you know that the phone lines will be used today. 661-515-BETS. We're back on our old phone number. If you guys watched Last Word Cheetah all week, we've been hacked by Vladimir Putin and his Russian hacking team. So I got a message last night that the phone lines are back up. 661-515-BETS. I will be paying attention to your calls. Please call me. Let's talk football. Let's talk your bets. I have an hour to fill before we get to some great matchups today. You know the one that I'm interested in. This is not a Matthew Stafford show, but it might as well be. My MVP bet. That's the only thing I got going for me right now. The only thing. That's in betting and in life. It all hangs in the balance thanks to Jonathan Matthew Stafford. They take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers today, which will be a great game. I'm excited for it. I love Tom Brady, too, if you guys didn't know that. One of my favorite Michigan quarterbacks. I watched the 97, 98 Michigan team with him and Charles Woodson. That's probably one of my favorite college teams ever. Charles Woodson in college, the defensive player that made me, him and Deion were the guys that made me want to play football. So that team is it's near and dear to my heart. I love Tom Brady, underdog story. If you guys couldn't tell, I love underdog story and people that you count out. I think at this point, Tom Brady's underdog narrative has served its purpose. He's the greatest quarterback of all time. There is no more probably to it. There isn't even an argument to it anymore. Tampa Bay versus L.A. Brady comes back to L.A. I'm excited about that game. I was actually – listen, I know you guys know that the betting stuff isn't where it needs to be, but the football stuff is something that I kind of understand and can break down exclusively. I watched some film on both teams, man. The Rams played cover 2. Brady played against Atlanta with the cover 2 last week, and he tore them up. It was something nasty. So you kind of want to see who's going to come out. I think that there will be a very slow pace of the game. Tampa Bay gets started early really well. I think they're top 5 or top 3 in points scored in the first half. I think it's like 20, or it might be first quarter, 24 a game. So now that the internet's down, I can start freaking out. Listen, man, this show is stressing me out. I come in here for Last Word Cheetah. Things kind of work. But when I come in here on Sundays, nothing works. Everybody wants me to be stressed out. So just some good news for you. If you guys follow me on Twitter, sometimes I talk about my flag football team. We're back in the win column, 3-1. Coach Young, he took those kids down 6-0 the entire game. Listen, I was down and out. I was trying to come up with some type of strategy to get in the end zone. We score a touchdown, get a pick 6, go up 13-6. They tied it up on the last play of the game. We get an interception on the 2-point conversion. They tried to go for the win on me, so we went 6 across the board, nobody leave. We got an interception. So we're back in the win column with that. Kickball team won without me. I'm pretty much not needed in any arena that I'm in. So getting in the recap of last week, some of the things to look forward to. Daniel Jones and the Giants rushed for 100 yards, still fell to Washington. Taylor Heineke, he looks good. I told you he's good at improvising. He'll climb the pocket. He'll run. He'll improv. He'll make plays. He'll make throws downfield. He almost cost him the game, but I look to see where his improvement goes from there. Joe burrowed himself last week after he threw 3 straight picks on 3 straight passes. That's impressive. 3 for 3 on that drive. We actually got a call already. Let's go to the call. Let's see if these calls work. No. No is the answer. No is always the answer. Because I need something to work. There we go. I'm gonna try. Who is it? Who you're on with Qwan on the Qwan Show? Who is this?
Hey, this is RW Com.
RW,
One of
what's
your
up
fans.
from a YouTube, right?
Yes, absolutely.
What's up, man? Hey, I'm trying to throw you on air here. Like I said, I get all the technical difficulties. There you go. You're on air right now. What plays you got? What games you looking for? What do you want to talk about with football?
I'm trying to figure out who's going to be the best team at covering the spread this week and who's going to be the worst.
Who's going to be the best team at covering the spread and who's going to be the worst? Well, I'm going to pull up my handy-dandy BetMGM lines here. Who do you have in mind as far as what you're looking at, games?
I hate to say it, but I've only got one device in front of me, so I don't even have a schedule on me.
Okay. You got a favorite team?
There's a bit of an echo, so I'm pausing in my sentences.
Okay. The best, you said who's the best covering the spread and who's the worst. Listen, I am very bad against the spread. I went, I think, 5-11 last week, and I picked 4 or 5 games against the spread. I was looking at one game. We on Last Word Cheetah, we do the show called Betting Extraordinaire, and there were a couple lines, but Ravens and Lions. I want to stick to my bread and butter. I want to stick to what I know. The Ravens, this is going to be the game that if Jared Goff has anything, this is going to be the game that he has to show it. Baltimore is the worst. They give up the most yards per game in the NFL, dead last. But the Lions, I feel like, are all empty stats. They show up in the first quarter. They show up in the first half a little bit. And then everything else is them trying to play catch up. So all of those third and fourth quarter stats, you're getting empty, looks from Jared Goff. So the Ravens at -8, you got to think about the injuries with Lamar Jackson. The flip into the end zone apparently hurt him, and he complained about it during the week, but I don't think it would be too much to take him out of the game or take him out of the flow. I think the Lions are about 15 or 16. They're middle of the pack in run defense, but man, it's just not a good team. I think they're starting Bryant, whoever the rookie linebacker is, in place of Jamie Collins. They said Jamie Collins is a liability, so I don't think he practiced this week, and they're sitting him. Yeah, so Ravens -8 is something that I would take. I just don't see how Detroit, they make, like, the only thing that you really have to worry about is a backdoor cover, which they did against the 49ers. They didn't complete. They almost completed against the Packers, but they had, I think, 1 or 2 possessions, and they were out. So I would go Baltimore -8.
I think that's a good pick.
Yeah. As far as the worst, I'm seeing lines for Pick'em with Tampa Bay and LA, but I mean, as far as the worst, I really couldn't tell you, man. Like, ooh. I don't see the
Steelers
Steelers
the Detroit game.
Go ahead.
I think you've got the Detroit game nailed.
Yeah, and I really don't see the Steelers covering here. After I was talking about Burrow, when I was getting into the recap of the NFL, Burrow came back after those 3 picks and threw a couple touchdowns. And, you see reports. I saw a report before I went on air about Ben not being Ben. And I think a lot of people outside of the media recognize that the last few years it's been a major decline for Ben. I mean, I was watching the film versus the Raiders last week, and a couple of those plays, he was just chuck it football. And that's not Steelers football. They run the ball, great defense, and they protect the ball. Ben can't do that moving around stuff that he used to do, playmaking in the pocket, holding on for long, because he just doesn't have the arm strength. He can't make the throws downfield, and he just makes bad decisions sometimes. Those 50-50 balls get him in trouble. So I really like the Bengals at +2.5. I was thinking about taking them on the money line, so that would be something that, I mean, I don't see -105 as something that you want to bet if you're confident in the Bengals. I'd like them at +120 dogs. So those would be two of the games that I would look at if you're looking for anything.
I was a big critic of the Steelers last year when they were on their winning streak.
Yeah. 11-0.
It just seemed too easy to beat them.
Yeah, and it's
but
a different team.
They were playing teams that didn't adjust.
Yeah, and it's a different team now. I think Najee Harris will develop into something, but it starts with Ben, and I don't think too many people are confident in him. So we'll see what happens today.
Right.
But, I'm leaning towards the Bengals side.
They say when a quarterback is no longer willing to take a hit for a completion that he's done.
He's done.
And that's Ben.
I think it's a little more nuanced than that. I just think he still thinks he's the same player when he got into the league, and he could still do all that magic escaping stuff, and Father Time always wins. So, he's taking a lot of punishment. It's something where I don't really think the Steelers' O-line has been good and helped him over the last few years. So that's a big part of it too. The Raiders, I think the Raiders pass rush is really good. And I think there's something that people aren't really giving them credit for yet, but off the edge, they're pretty good. And they had been under a lot of pressure last week.
I look for Nassib to have a big year.
Who was that? Najee?
With the Raiders.
Oh, who? Carl?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, he was good in the Monday night game against the Ravens. And, I like their front four pressure. I want to see – I think they got Miami today, right? You said
yes.
Yeah, so I think Jacoby Brissett's going to be in a lot of trouble with those four guys rushing. I like the Raiders in that game as well. But I hope that answered your question as far as spreads, who you like and who you want.
That's great. Well, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for calling in.
Have a great day.
You too.
Bye.
That was the first call. Woo! Talking to people it's crazy. Where was I at? We were getting into it. Yeah. Joe Burrow, he buried himself last week. I like the Bengals in that game, man. I just see there's a lot of questions on the Pittsburgh side and just a little less consistency on the Bengals side. And I think that's something where the Bengals are still young. Their coaching isn't up to par, but I think they have the players and the playmakers to compete. And, without those back-to-back interceptions by Joe Burrow, you never know what kind of game last week could have been. So, yeah, there we go. Baker. We get Justin Fields action today, which I know as Chicago Bears fans, they're really excited about, and they should be. I think he's like a lot of my things with Justin Fields, or my stance on him, is that he's really poised, and that's what you need at that position. You need, if you have a young guy at quarterback, somebody that sits in the pocket, somebody who doesn't rush and throw the ball into bullshit, which you kind of saw Zach Wilson do last week with the 4 interceptions. He didn't set his feet. He was hurried and under pressure, so he was lofting balls in the middle of the field, which is quarterback rule, like probably number one. You don't just throw that bitch in the middle of the field, which he did a few times. So I look for Justin Fields. I saw an anytime touchdown prop last night. I think it was on PointsBet or BetMGM. Check out the FTN prop shop. They will take you where you need to go for player props and game props and anything else that you want to see. I think it was plus 290 last night. It's probably changed a little bit now. But Justin Fields, anytime touchdown. And I think no matter what, I don't think the Browns they struggled last week with Tyrod Taylor because he moves in the pocket. He goes to his check downs and he doesn't try to take out too much. He takes what the defense gives him. And I don't want to say they're similar players, but Justin Fields moves in the pocket well. He'll go to his check down, and his feet are a weapon, more so than Tyrod Taylor. So I'm thinking against the Browns, that's a good prop that you want to look into, is because no matter what the score of the game, they're going to let Justin Fields finish out the game because they want him to develop. They want him to get the reps. They want him to get the throws. And how about Nagy this week? I can't quote it verbatim, but he said we're learning things about our quarterback with more reps that we didn't know yet. And once again, for I guess an unprecedented third week, we learned that these coaches in the NFL are idiots. Like, of course, your rookie quarterback is going to get better with every throw because they're not used to Justin Fields said he was used to it, but they're not used to the speed of the NFL. They're not used to the coverages. They're not used to seeing the things that they've seen. So with every throw, you would hope that your quarterback improves. And that's why I'm pretty sure the Dalton move was, I don't know how to put it. It was pretty dumb because we've seen what Andy Dalton could do. And it's not super impressive, but it's just regular. And to draft somebody that high and kind of, I wouldn't want to say stunt their growth, but to prolong the inevitable, that was insane. So look for Justin Fields to, play the entire game. I think there will be a moment where I don't want to say 2 touchdowns, but I think he's going to be in good rhythm. The game plan last week, I think he went 6 of 13 for 60 yards. Which isn't so hot, but that's an Andy Dalton game plan. I think a lot of those plays were designed gives on the RPOs, which he'll have an option on that. They're going to throw in some RPO action to where there's screens, there are bubble screens off the runs, off the play fakes. So I hope. Let me preface that with an I hope. I hope Nagy and the offensive coordinator, I think Nagy's calling the plays. I hope they make the game easy for him so he doesn't have to think too much. I think that 6 of 13 was just one of those, hey, you're thrust into game action. Let's make it easy. Let's not put too much in your hands. And I think he did a good job. The Cardinals and the Jaguars is up. It's another game that's coming on. I can't even hold you guys. Kyler Murray is playing out of his mind. And I don't like the run around and scramble for 15 seconds and then plaster, you find a wide receiver open type offense or type players. Like Mahomes, he threw a costly interception last week. I think Kyler Murray had a couple of costly turnovers doing that stuff. And I think that's kind of where the game's headed. But at times it takes you out of your offensive rhythm and you never really you gotta live. It's like the analytics in basketball. You live with the 3, you die by the 3. So I think the Cardinals are that type of team. But we got another call here. I think the Cardinals are that type of team. So running a one-man show is not fun. We got another caller. I was on the Cardinals. Caller, who is this?
This DJ, man. What's up?
As soon as I hit the air button, you're going on, DJ. There we go. We're a struggle. We're on with DJ from Chicago. DJ submitted the Bears video last week. If you didn't get a chance to see it, I'll play it at the end of his call. But DJ, are you calling in to talk about Coach Nagy?
Yeah. I just saw you talking about him, so I just want to chime in.
The floor is all yours.
So, yeah, man, like that comment that he said, like,
That's
bro, like, like, why he don't have more reps, man?
And that's it. Like I said, man, you want to get these young guys reps because the only way to get better is to get reps. That's one thing that's universal. If you don't play, you don't understand. As a Bears fan, what's your take on Nagy? Do you think he should be involved in the development moving forward with Justin Fields, or do you think his time is up because you got all that Trubisky stuff out the way, and now he's kind of in the same stratosphere with the decisions he's making and the coaching moves. So what do you think about Nagy?
Justin is his guy, but like clearly he's trying to buy time. But I feel like they need to get somebody else.
Who would be a coach that you think could take Justin Fields and the Bears to the next level?
They need an offensive mind. Maybe the OC from Buffalo.
Who is the OC?
Because you saw what he did with Josh Allen. Brian Dable, I believe.
Okay. All right.
That's just a name. I don't know, but they need like somebody that's really going to challenge the defense.
Okay.
And like Nagy's first year was like his best year.
Yeah.
But then it just went downhill from there.
And then, we got all those Mitches and my guy. What's your expectation for the game today with Justin Fields? Do you think he throws a touchdown? I mean, give me a stat line.
Oh, that's tough. Him throwing a touchdown and rushing for another one.
So you got one pass touchdown and one rushing touchdown.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. You think the Bears pull it out? I think they're what, +3?
+3. I hope so. I try to stay away from betting like the. Oh.
Yeah, they're +7 right
now. +7?
Yeah.
I'll take that.
+7.5 at.
Because Baker Mayfield not like that.
Yeah, I don't. Man.
So.
They're really repetitious. There's this. I think their money play is like a levels adjustment. They sit a tight end or somebody in the slot right in front of the backer, and then they throw a slant right behind it. And the Texans, I think they ran it 3 or 4 times, and then the safety picked it off. And I think they started going to the well one too many times. So I don't see, like I said, Stefanski's a good play caller, but I think once Baker gets off script and he starts to do his own thing, he becomes kind of not, I wouldn't say man, but it's not as high level as when, you know what your first 20 plays are, what you want to get out of Baker. It's when, hey, we really need something. But I believe OBJ is full go. So does that change your mind at all?
No.
No?
Because like no Jarvis Landry.
Yeah. Okay. So no Jarvis Landry.
And that's a running team.
Yeah. Yeah. Nick Chubb's been really good for me on fantasy. That's one thing that I know. So what's your play? You taking the Bears at +7.5 or?
Yeah, I'll take that.
Okay. All right.
I try to stay away from like the first month of the NFL season.
You want to see what's going on.
Because after that, like, the trends, man.
The trends, yeah. All right, DJ. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to let you go here. We got you taking the Bears at +7.5 as a side. I'm going to play your rant from last week in case people didn't see it. And we're going to come back with more on the Qwan Show. Thanks for giving us a call.
All right, bro.
Hey, what's up, Qwan? Man, I want to talk about Matt Nagy. I'm really tired of this dude. Like, he needs to go or figure something else out. Since 2018, the Bears has not had a top 10 offense, and he always got that stupid card that says "BU." And right now, him being him is like trash. 14 points against the Rams. And then after the game, they asked him all these questions, and he got this stupid look on his face, and he just like clueless. So y'all finally figure out how to run the ball. David Montgomery was top 5 from yards of scrimmage last year, and so that was good. Then y'all ran the ball against the Rams, which is tough, and y'all don't do play action pass. Like y'all should have a bigger sample of play action pass, more creativity. And since Nagy been there, the creativity been like these stupid reverse screens, these bubble screens, all this other dumb stuff that don't work. And since 2018, when it was like ninth, the league has caught up with him, and he has not made any adjustments. Like I'm really tired of him. Fields coming in and scoring, that was cool, but that's not like the main point of this. They gonna do whatever plan they have for Fields, and so that's fine. But him calling plays, him scheming, him doing all those different type of things, like it just doesn't make sense. And so the game against the Bengals will be telling, because the Bengals are not that good. Nobody is really worried about the Bengals, and this guy's supposed to be an offensive guru, and we haven't seen it yet. So I'm really tired of Matt Nagy. He don't really make too much sense. And yeah, man, like get him out of here.
Get him out of here. That's I love that. DJ says get him out of here. Get Matt Nagy out of here. So let me know. 661-515 bets. I haven't gotten a chance to get through most of these games. Like I said, Cardinals, Jaguars, like, man, Urban Meyer's talking about Alabama every week. I don't want to discount them, but it's looking 0-17. Maybe they get some type of leeway. I really don't know what they're going to do here with that great offense, who I think ranks 3rd in pass yards per game. And the Jaguars are 27th in pass yards allowed. So if you're looking at styles and matchups, it's the Cardinals. It's the Cardinals all the way. Chargers and Chiefs, it's a bounce-back game for the Chiefs. I think the last time they lost 2 games in a row was 2019, I believe. So, not familiar territory for Andy Reid and the Chiefs. I like the Chargers in this game, and it's because of how bad the Chiefs' defense looks. And it's going to be one of those, I think if anything, you take the total here, which if I look it up right now, man, I got to get situated. Thank you guys for tuning in and bearing with me. We're looking at the total in the Chiefs game. It's sitting at about 54.5. So, I mean, if anything, because I would be kind of afraid to pick this. I like the Chargers. I don't see the value in the -110. It's -110 as a total as well. So if you do have to pick something, I would pick the total. I think this is going to be one of those high-scoring affairs because the Chiefs are going to battle back no matter what. And I think Justin Herbert and the Chargers could put up points. Barring a few penalties last week against the Cowboys, I think that total would have been a little bit closer. They fell kind of short, but I like the Chargers in this one, but I'm going to take the total. If I do pick a side, that's it. The football team versus the Bills, once again, I'm high on Taylor Heineke. As far as the Bills go, they're not the same Bills as last year, obviously. I think they got a bounce-back win last week against the Dolphins, which they knocked 2 out the game, and you can't really gauge that. So, man, that's something that we're probably going to have to come back to. Because 35-0 the proof is in the pudding there. And, yeah. Up next, Colts and Titans. Titans won a close one in Seattle after a major comeback. Derrick Henry turned it on. The Colts fell to the Rams last week. Look, I don't hate what I'm seeing from the Colts. Carson Wentz is under duress. He was under duress all last week. He hurt his ankle. I think it was the opposite ankle from the one that he hurt in the preseason. So a lot of it is going to be based on Carson Wentz, and I think the variable here is how well is the Titans defense going to hold up, because the offense looks like it's starting to get into form. Derrick Henry took over, and man, yeah. Plus 4.5 on the Colts, 46.5 at the total. Colts are the money line dogs at plus 165. It's in Tennessee. I'm not sure how much the home and away variance will scare you away from taking the Colts, because I think home field advantage is, last I saw, it wasn't doing too hot. So I think there's a line move right now too. Plus 175 on the Colts. I'm not sure if I just said that, but something lit up on my screen, so that means something. If anything, stay away from that game. I like Tennessee in that game, but stay away from that game, because I don't know about the Titans defense, but I don't know about the Colts offense either. Up next, Bengals and Steelers, we touched on. For me, I think Ben's decline is becoming way more apparent. I think Joe Burrow is going to bounce back from the game he had. TJ Watt, last I checked, he was out, which that's a part of what the Steelers do. They rush the passer, which I think they did a really good job in week 1 when they defeated. It wasn't. I don't remember who it was, but TJ Watt is inactive, so that's going to be a big boost for Joe Burrow and the Bengals. So, look, man, they're plus money, and that's what I've been doing. For my bets, I've been going with plus money dogs that I think can win on the money line. They're plus 120 right now is what I see, and plus 2.5 against the spread. So I think taking that plus 125 is going to be probably more beneficial than anything, but I like the Bengals in that Steelers matchup. Going to the next game, Saints and Patriots. This is, once again, another game that I can't really get a beat on, because I don't really know which team's going to show up on either side. The Patriots, they had Zach Wilson in hell last week, causing 4 turnovers. So do you look to see them doing the same thing against Jameis and the Saints, who in turn, they also had some mishaps and some miscues last week against Carolina? So which team is going to show up? Plus 2.5 for New Orleans, plus 130 on the money line. If anything, man, that under total for me is looking nice. We got the Falcons and Giants. A lot of people were talking about, how are the Falcons coming in as dogs this week after the week they had with Tom Brady, and how the Giants look. I'm not sure how that's the case either. That would be another game that I think I take on the money line. The Falcons are plus 125 right now from what I see, plus 2.5 dogs. Atlanta, Matt Ryan's done. Matt Ryan's done is the narrative. Matt Ryan's done. And I think done is a bit overblown. I think Falcons fans would have liked to see a Justin Fields in that spot or a Trey Lance in that spot. But I think that team's ready to be blown up, and you thought you would get something different from the new regime, but it looks like it's pretty much the same old thing. And it's not looking high. I think they played the Buccaneers to the best of their ability, but they're the Buccaneers, and they're night and day better than the Falcons. So, you saw them put up points, which I think they can do again against the Giants. I don't think the Giants looked that hot on the defensive end against Washington. I think Heineke kind of outplayed them, and Daniel Jones kept them in the game. They had a couple of miscues on offense where, they dropped a touchdown with Slayton and a few other things that could have went their way. But I I see, and the Galladay blow up, I think that's going to be a big part of it. I think they're going to try to get him involved early, which they should, but I don't think that's going to be the game changer that will put them over the top in this. So I would take Atlanta on the money line plus 125. This is a labor of love. Listen, all the cringe out there, I appreciate you guys sticking with me through this. We talked about the Ravens and Lions with RW, that big win in Kansas City. They took down the Chiefs, and, they're riding really high right now. So I think a lot of that is going to play. They go to Detroit. It's a home game for the Lions. The Lions are under that new regime with Dan Campbell, and they're going to try and get a win. So passing is the only way that they're going to get this done. I think the Ravens they're middle of the pack rushing defense, I believe. If I can look it up. But the Lions stink. Like, I can't say it enough. I don't see how they compete with the Ravens in anything past. They're not a second half team at all. They can run the ball. I think the Ravens they give up like 123 yards a game or something to that extent. Let me see. I do got it down here somewhere. Yeah, and the Ravens are leading the league in rushing at 220 yards per game, and the Lions are an average run defense. So if you do believe in Jared Goff, this is the game for him to show you something. The Ravens are dead last in passing yards allowed with 376 yards per game, but they played the Raiders and the Chiefs in the first two games. They're 1-2 in the NFL in pass yards. So the Lions don't have any of those weapons that the Raiders or the Chiefs have. They don't have the speed downfield. They don't have the playmakers. That team is going to be floating in the 1-16 range. I do think they come out with energy. I think this is a game where I think home field will give them a little more ammunition to stay in the game. I would stay away from the spread on this one just because, like, it's if I could same old Lions, they're going to compete. They're not going to roll over and die. They're going to try to get you a backdoor cover, and they're going to try to do what they can to stay alive. So there's no, like, I guess, defeat in that retool or rebuild, but it's nothing that I think can win right now. The Dolphins and the Raiders. Tua's out. I think Jacoby Brissett's a serviceable quarterback, but I think, like I said, that Raiders defense, the front four, Carl Nassib, and I forgot the other guy off the edge, but it was the one that was giving the Ravens hell in week one of Villanueva. I think that defense is going to be good, and I'm not really going to put too much stock in breaking down the Dolphins and Raiders with Jacoby Brissett. I mean, you would hope the Raiders take care of business. I like what Derek Carr is doing. Can Derek Carr keep that same level of play with what he's been given? Like, I think he's taking a lot of underneath routes, but when they're lining up in bunch sets. You're getting rub routes, and you're getting guys open. So naturally, they're designing plays for their receivers to get open. And Derek Carr hasn't been bad with his throws downfield. I think he's starting to make more of the right decisions, and he's looking kind of vintagey. Like, we're talking like when we knew or we thought that Derek Carr had it. So I look to see how he comes out and plays today against competition that's kind of beneath where the Raiders are right now. If he can play at the same level that he's playing, I'm taking the Raiders in that one. The Jets and the Broncos. Do I really need is Zach Wilson going to bounce back against one of the top 5 pass defenses or the top pass defenses in the league? The Broncos, they've allowed 1 touchdown in the air and under 200 yards per game. Now, the line opened at plus 5.5, and it's all, last time I checked, it was all the way up to 10. The Broncos, they're at home. That's kind of home field advantage that matters because of the mile high air. Is Zach Wilson gonna show up? Is our ball's gonna float on him? What's gonna happen in that game? And I think that's going to be kind of the precedent for the Jets and Broncos. I don't see the Jets in it at all. I think the Broncos get another one. They might. I don't want to say they're the best team in the AFC West. I think they're the most well-rounded team in the AFC West. And then a couple more games to break down, the Bucs and the Rams. Tampa Bay 30th in the NFL in pass yards allowed. You know what that means. It's another Matthew Stafford game. Look, the Buccaneers lost to the Rams last year. I think it was 27-24. This is an MVP game for both. I think right now Brady's the favorite. That narrative you can build. Brady's 44. He's got, I think, his 9 touchdowns, 8 touchdowns, two interceptions. The Bucs, they're back. They're undefeated. And they're going against Matthew Stafford, a lot of people's early preseason picks in the Rams. You know, the Rams' #1 defense last year. What can they do with a capable quarterback? Like, you can build a narrative around this to the extent that whoever wins this game is going to shoot up. I mean, I think Brady's already at the top. You got Kyler Murray up there who's playing well. Stafford's probably in the mix, and I think there's somebody else that I'm forgetting that's playing really well. But this is going to be the narrative moving forward. We talked about it on the Last Word Cheated with Preston. You know, if Stafford beats the Buccaneers here, what's going to happen over the course of the next few games? But they have a really tough stretch over the course of the next few games. I think they play the Cardinals in 2 games. After this game, they play, let me see, they got the Buccaneers, the Cardinals, and then the Seahawks. So you got one of the best, the defending Super Bowl champions, one of the best teams in the league. Then you got 2 division matchups. So if they can get through this divisional matchup or this game with the Buccaneers with the W, you get the divisional matchup with a streaking Kyler Murray. Like, Kyler Murray's hot. And you get to Russell Wilson, who in the Seahawks, who are hot. They let one slip last week, but, you know, Wilson the Lockett is looking crazy. Then they got the Giants, the Lions, the Texans. It's smooth sailing there for the Rams. So I think tonight, I know I was looking at the over here as a total because, once again, the Buccaneers, they come out first quarter, first half, they score. And I don't think that's going to stop. I like the Rams defense. I think they're a lot more physical. The reason that I've seen Tampa Bay, or last week, looking at the Falcons game, Tampa Bay was drawing up concepts out of 3-by-1s where there's no reroute. Brady is sitting in the pocket. All of his receivers are on their timing routes. They're going untouched. So it's easy, and the pressure isn't causing him to throw to make erratic throws or anything. He's just stepping up, moving about the pocket, and delivering the ball. So I think if the Rams can get physical in the slot, knock receivers off the seam, Brady's going to struggle. How much he's going to struggle, I'm not sure, but there will be an ounce of struggle there. I'm going to take the Rams. And I'm going to take the Rams. I think it's a pick 'em right now. It's +1. But I like the Rams here, man. I think their defense is better. I think Jalen Ramsey in the slot. Like, it's hard to defend Godwin. I don't know if Antonio Brown is still out. I don't know if Antonio Brown, he's out. So, you know, you lose one weapon that you have to defend. But you got Mike Evans out there. You got Godwin. They're going to find somewhere to put the ball. And it's just going to be a matter of who's going to step up for the Bucs. And everybody that needs to step up is a superstar level or above. So I like the Rams here, though. I think if they can keep pace early, the game will probably slow down for them. If they let Tampa Bay come out on fire, 10, 14 points in the first quarter, it's going to be a long game for Los Angeles. Up next on the docket, got about 10 minutes left. No more calls. 661-515-BETS. That the Seahawks and the Vikings. It's tough to be a Minnesota fan. Missed field goals, missed field goals, missed field goals. Look, they played well last week. I don't see the Seahawks also play well until the last few minutes. So it's going to be a matter of who finishes. And right now, I would trust Russell Wilson more than I would trust anybody else on the field as far as Seattle or Minnesota. So I'm taking the Seahawks in that one. And finally, on the Sunday night game, we got an Aaron Rodgers bounce back, just as I predicted. It's pretty much automatic, so that he gets to do his relaxed bit. And I haven't been high on the 49ers, and I think there may be a little bit of bias in that capacity, but how do you summarize what you've seen over the two games? Like, he's not Aaron Rodgers isn't phoning it in, which you can tell, but it was the Lions. And it's something that you don't have to worry about, who's going to show up anymore. You just have to worry about how consistent will he play. And it's weird asking those questions for Aaron Rodgers this deep in the season, but you saw on Monday night when they're in the rhythm and they're flowing and they got the guys, like, they were tearing the Lions secondary up. And the Lions secondary is bad, but, Jared Goff did the same thing in garbage time with the 49ers, and he almost let it come back. Now, I don't think that's reason enough to pick the Packers here, but I think early on, 49ers, they didn't look too great against Philly last week. Philly dominated that first half, and they just didn't finish. They didn't score points. They didn't put it in the end zone when they needed to. There was a 97-yard pass play. I think it was Quez Watkins, and they didn't score. So it's going to be, you're telling me, I don't know if Jason Verrett is still out for the 49ers, but they're young in the secondary. They're backed up. I think there are a few injuries. He's been ruled out of the game. That was against the Jets. Ooh, he's out for the season. I did not know that. Yeah, so there you go. So Packers, I think they were dogs the last time I checked. Let's check on MGM. +3, +135 on the money line. That's a good money line pick for me. You're not getting any value taking them against the spread. If you think they'll win, I would say take them on the money line. But +3, that's a field goal game. If you lose, I think that's a push, right? Listen, we're going to get some terminology in here. There are some more things that, we're going to talk about along the way of this season of the Qwan Show. We got about 5 minutes till kickoff time. I hope you guys got all your bets in. We're going to finish up here with the Eagles and the Cowboys. I think after a big win with the Chargers, I think the Cowboys are finally starting to put things together. I want to hope that Ezekiel Elliott starts getting into the mix now, because they're going to, I think he's splitting reps now and he's not becoming the workhorse or that he used to be, so it's kind of unfamiliar territory. But I think it's going to take a couple games for him to get in rhythm and have a big game. I think if they want to beat Philly, he's going to have not a monster game, but he's going to have to put up one of those 100-yarders. I think Dak's Dak. He's good. He's going to he's going to get you what you need. Like he's going to take shots downfield. He's going to be accurate, and he's going to make plays. You saw in the Chargers game that, he took command and did what needed to be done. I think the Cowboys finish up on Monday. I think they're at home in Arlington. It's a Monday night game. Cowboys under the lights. I'm pretty sure there's a Cowboys under the lights, Cowboys in prime time. They get a lot of primetime games. Let's see. Primetime stats of Zeke. Big player. 87 yards per game. That's in primetime matchups. I think Monday, Zeke's going to return to form. I'm taking the Cowboys -3. And I'm also signing off. Listen, I'm sweating really hard right now. I just did an hour. Thank you guys for bearing with me. There was a lot of cringe. We're going to clean up the cringe. We're going to clean up everything. The Qwan Show is going to get better in week 4. We're going to keep going. I hope like hell you enjoy your games today. I hope like hell you win your bets today. And remember, the only way to gamble responsibly is to win. Thanks for watching the Qwan Show. I'll see you guys next week.